Hi, it's Ben with Accura Outdoors, and to continue with this series of kind of setting up your home bench. So I have most of my stuff on here. We'll go through setting up the press and everything, but I am going to show how to set up 223 brass and or complete ammunition. So in order to run through this, you need to have your brass processed, and 223 brass takes a little bit more effort. So I went through and I have got, this should be about 1,000 rounds, give or take. So I had a buddy of mine who has a Dillon 750 with a Mark 7 auto drive, and he has it set up so he can swedge it. So we basically just tossed it in there, lubed it up, and then he also annealed everything, so everything's all good to go. So the next thing is we got to trim all of it. So this has been sized, it just needs to be trimmed and then go through. So I figured that was a good segue to a new product that are not new to the general public, but it's a new product for me. I figured we review it. So normally when I have been doing 6.5 Creedmoor, this has been my setup for trimming my brass. It works really well. It's the way that the backside here works. If you tighten it, you have different sizes here, and then you've got your neck guide tool, then you have your stop. So that way, once you have it, set up, you just throw it in, crank it, go through, crank it. And then after that, you then have to get the deburr and chamfer it. So I had a hand thing. Now you can imagine that took a while. So I like to do things a little more speedy if I can afford it. So I got a good deal on a Frankford Arsenal. This is the Platinum Series Case Trim and Prep Center with ejecting thingies. So this has got a chamfer, a deburr, a primer pocket cleaner, and then it's got a trimmer. So everything all at once. It's kind of cool. They do have on the top of it. So if you're setting up for something else, it's got all of your little pieces in here. So it's got where it holds the brass, your different neck sizers. I went ahead, I wanted to figure out how this worked before I went on here. So I didn't want to, have a video of me going, I wonder how this works. So, so the way it does work, and we'll speed up and cut. So when you open it up, so you've got the neck piece. What that does is it prevents the brass from going a certain distance into the trimmer. And then to hold everything in place, you find the one that's closest. So you put that guy in there. And then it's got an O-ring, and I think the O-ring is just to prevent it from moving once you have it set up. So the reason they have them open like this, so this is without any tightening down. See how it's all loose? So what you do is and it sizes down pretty fast, so obviously it's not going to fit anywhere. So what I do is I'll stick it in there until it's got a little bit of tension, so that way it holds it pretty good and holds it straight. And then it's got holes in here so that the brass can go out here, and then it's got markings so that when you're adjusting it for your length to get to set it, because then you have your Titan lock ring. That way, once you got it set up, you're not worried about rechecking it. And I would do maybe like 20 check one, make sure that everything's good. But yeah, you just, you stick it in, go through, and then if you want to clean your primer pocket, you just sit there and scrape it, and then we'll separate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and process the bucket, and then we're giving you my thoughts on, do I think it works? Obviously, I mean, I'm sure it's not going to not work. If there's any improvements. I purchased this with my own money, not Accura's money, and we weren't sponsored, so this will be an honest review. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine, but let's get through processing this and then do an after action thing. So stay tuned for a little montage, and then we'll come back with my thoughts on this tool. All right, so we just processed about maybe 50 rounds or 50 casings. Worked flawlessly. I would do some spot checks with my Frankford Arsenal digital caliper, and it was within 100 thous, so it was just fine. Some of them, if you saw, I was pushing in, and I didn't chamfer them and stuff. Those ones are too short, so those ones didn't need to be anything done to them because they weren't trimmed, so they were undersized, which is just fine. The only thing that I would probably want to change or add to this is if you didn't swedge, but if you reamed, having this instead of a primer, I think pocket cleaner, having an actual as a reamer would be really nice, because then you could process the brass completely. But that's my only thing I would probably change on it. It worked great. Very consistent. Obviously I had it on the edge of this so that all the tips or the brass would fall off to the side. But so yeah, Frankford Arsenal brass trimmer would definitely highly recommend if you want to speed up your brass processing, whenever you're reloading for your rifle rounds. So until then, stay safe. I'll see you on the range.